Welcome to the Hangar Z Podcast, brought to you by Vertical Helicasts and partnered with Vertical Valor Magazine. In this episode, Jon Gray and Jack Schonely are joined by Dan Schwarzbach, Executive Director and CEO of the Airborne Public Safety Association, for an exclusive preview of the APSCON 2025 in Phoenix. We'll cover training opportunities for both manned and unmanned aircraft and give you a sneak peek at what to expect on the convention floor. Plus, we'll talk about the host city of Phoenix and the many experiences it has to offer for visiting attendees. After our conversation with Dan, we'll shift gears and welcome two candidates vying for the Central Regional Director position at APSA, which is the only contested race this year. Jon and Jack give each candidate a platform to introduce themselves to the voting members of the Central Region. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review of the Hangar Z Podcast. We truly appreciate your support. APSCON Phoenix is just around the corner. Be sure to stop by the Vertical Magazine booth on the convention floor and say hello. We hope to see you there. For more information on the upcoming event, go to publicsafetyaviation.org. Thank you to our sponsors, CNC Technologies, Precision Aviation Group, and Shotover Systems.
Welcome to the Hangar Z Podcast, brought to you by Vertical Helicasts. The Hangar Z Podcast is the first and only podcast dedicated to promoting and exploring the personnel and equipment behind the missions in public safety aviation.
Still southbound, skidding to a stop. Stand by here. Looks like they're getting ready to bail. Heads up, guys, bailing. Okay, the guy, he's running through the house, jumping the fence, threw the shotgun, threw something out. Grabbing the shotgun. Don't go over that fence. Don't go over that fence. Grab the shotgun again. He is armed. Stay there. Hold your position.
Hey, welcome to Hangar Z Podcast. I'm your host, Jon Gray, and I'm really excited to sit down with these folks today. We're entering what's probably my favorite time of the year, getting ready for all the conventions that take place. And of those conventions, the one that I'm most interested in is APSCON. It's become, the one industry event that we cannot miss every year. It's critical for the education, the networking, the training, and the career development that goes with attending those conferences, specifically for airborne law enforcement. It's been an honor to be a part of APSCON for all the years and to attend each show. This year, we're going back to Phoenix, which I love Phoenix. So excited to go back there. The last time I was there, I think it was 2014. And that was a really good event. So with us to help talk about what is going on at APSCON is the commander, Jack Schonely. How you doing, sir?
The commander of nothing. Hello.
Good to have
be
you
with you, Jon and Dan.
Yes, sir. And then we've got Dan Schwarzbach. Everybody knows Dan. If you don't know Dan, you're probably hiding under a rock somewhere. But
yeah, where have you been?
Dan's been instrumental in APSCON and APSA and all the things that they have to offer. So let me introduce the warm welcome, Dan Schwarzbach. How you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing quite well. Thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, always an honor to talk to you and work with you. And you guys are doing a lot to promote our industry and establish the training that is required to propel people's career forward. So thank you for all the efforts you put into the industry and for your passion for airborne public safety.
Yep. Labor of love, and it is a true passion. So thank you. Thanks for recognizing that.
Yeah. Well, for this year, we have Phoenix coming up for APSCON. And again, going back to 2014, probably one of my most favorite locations in the last, 15 or so years. So really I just want to spend some time talking about what folks can expect at APSCON this year, what they can expect out of the city of Phoenix. For those that haven't been to the city of Phoenix, it's a really cool town and city.
Yeah, great place.
The weather is always a bit of a gamble this time of year, but as with every location that we end up in July, you never know what you're going to get. The last time we were there, we had monsoons, and it actually wasn't too hot, but it was a little sticky. But the downtown area of Phoenix is really cool, so we'll be back down there, I'm sure, with the convention center. But before we get into that, if Dan, you could just let us know what's new with APSA.
Yeah, things going on new with APSA, and if people may have noticed, we launched a brand new website on or about January. It was about January 6th, I think, is when we launched. Actually, we were shooting for the 1st, but we were trying to get that up and running. So there's a lot of new things and a lot of new functionality on the website, and we're doing it in phases. And phase one was get it up and running with what you saw on there. That was really precipitated by the switch to a new Association of Management System, or AMS, which we switched to a company called Member Suites and their software to run the association. So that's everything behind the scenes. That's registrations. That's our databases for membership, whether it's our individual members or corporate members. It's everything that makes things work behind the scenes. And so, along with that, when we went to the new AMS, there's a lot of information. Our members don't regularly go on our website or to our database and update. We have agencies that, 2 agencies ago that people have worked for, because they don't go in and update that information. They renew their membership, but they don't actively renew that in general. So we certainly like that with the new association manager software. We'd love people to go in, log in, and update all their information, update who you work for, all your contact information, things like that. They're also, phase 2 of that rollout is all the databases, searchable databases we have. And a couple of those being the membership database, which you'll update that. But there's an agency database on there. There's different databases you can go. There's a salary, a pay database on there. You go in there, look at your agency, and update not only your personal information through your own account, but your agency information too. Go in there and update that stuff, and all that's controllable by each member. They can go in and update all that information. But that gets us the latest and greatest information. You can opt in or opt out of any of our emails and publications through there as well. But the best way to keep up with what's going on with APSA is to make sure that we have current information. And this is a perfect opportunity to do that now that we've got a brand new database and a new management software in place.
Yeah, that's huge. Networking is a big part of the conferences, and what you're talking about, that database. You might go to a conference and meet somebody and be like, I met this person from X agency, but you can't remember their name or how to get in touch with them because they're doing something similar to what you are. Using the database you're describing, you can then go and through process of elimination, figure out who that person is and answer the question you might have.
Yeah,
which I think is great. That's a big part of what we're trying to provide here is a clearinghouse essentially for folks that are looking for solutions to problems they have. So I love that you guys are updating that. You probably had Jack's name in that initial database from how many years ago?
I think he was a Canaan officer back when we had him.
It probably was. Yeah, actually.
Yes, that's huge. Like to hear about that. Aside from the databases and the website, did you guys recently come out with some new social media presence?
We did. We back in the fall of last year, we hired a social media firm, a firm that does a lot of different stuff to manage our social media campaign. And it just so happens that the same people that are managing that for us are the people that are now the webmasters that are doing our website for us. So there's a lot of synergy there in that they know what events are upcoming. They know the things we want to highlight because they're seeing it, but through our emails, they're seeing it through our database or through the website, and now they're able to take that, translate that into post on social media. So
I've noticed that, by the way, Dan. That's good for you to know that I have noticed that increase dramatically, and where things are popping up more often about the APSCON or about safety stand downs, where I was like, wow, I don't remember seeing that before as often, certainly as often. So it's working. Whatever you're doing there, it's working.
Good. Yeah, it's new to us, but we've been pleased with it so far, and we get a lot of good reaction out of it too. So
good.
For the folks that are listening, can you let us know what platforms they can look for APSA on social media?
Yeah, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, and we're on
Instagram.
Instagram. Thank you very much. Yes, Instagram.
Okay. So LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. That's great. I mean, That's how a lot of people consume information, including myself these days. So I love that you guys have gone into that area. As far as APSCON 2025, I know these locations are planned out well in advance. You guys have had quite a bit of time to kind of plan around where this year's event's going to take place. Can you talk about APSCON 2025 and what people might expect?
Sure. You said the last time you were at the one in Phoenix was in 2014, and that was the last time we were in Phoenix. So This will be our first time there in 11 years. We're right downtown, right smack dab in the middle of downtown where the convention center is. The host hotel is the Sheridan. That's the primary host hotel. It's just a couple blocks away. We've got 2 or 3 overflow hotels as well, and that information is on the website. Registration won't be open for members until mid March, so that's coming up. But and that's when membership will be open. But it's fairly open for all exhibitors, and the floor is over 75% sold already. So that's exciting because been great response there for that. But in downtown Phoenix, we're right. The hotel and the convention center. They're about the hotel's about 2 blocks a walk to the convention center. We're about a 3-block walk to Chase Field, which is where the Diamondbacks play. We're about 4 to 5 block walk to what is now called the Footprint Center, which is where the Phoenix Suns play. So there's a lot of activity in there in that area, and as you can imagine, because you've got those 2 big sports arenas there, all the draw that they are with the convention center as well. There's a lot of restaurants, a lot of bars, a lot of nightlife that goes along with that, and a lot of great places that are all within walking distance of the hotel and the convention center.
2 questions come to mind. Being close to Chase Field, last time we were there was an event held. I don't remember if it was the pig picking or if it was another event.
It was the pig picking.
But is there going to be?
It was. Yeah, they had the Brian Spillane's video was on the big screen in center field, and that was really the cool one with get in the van.
Yes,
which we still tell Brian to get in the van.
Well, speaking of Brian, maybe we'll see Captain Fleer up here.
You never know.
APSCON this year. You
never know.
Never know.
But 2-part question. One, are there any events planned that you know of at this time that'll take place at Chase Field? And then the second part to the question is, do you know if the Diamondbacks are in town during the convention?
I do not believe the Diamondbacks are in town during the convention, and the reason I say that is because I looked for it because we have a tradition of the board going out to a baseball game, and I don't believe they're in town during that whole run we're there, unfortunately. And I don't know if any events are planned there. Those events like that Fleer event those are planned by those sponsors, and so I don't remember. I do remember though that where the food was served up on the in the common walkway areas, I remember it being very, very hot. And
yes,
and
it
so
was.
Correct.
It was. And so as we were able to get out into the seats around the field and watch the videos that were on the big screen there, that was certainly a welcome relief. But what I can promise is we'll try to have a cooler place for those events this time.
It was cool though. I would take the heat to be in that setting. It was really cool.
That was nice.
As a baseball fan, and I'm not encouraging this, but there's always the pool. You can always go jump in center field.
That's right. There is a pool there.
True.
Probably shouldn't encourage anybody to do anything like that. We talked about the downtown Phoenix area. You got Chase Field, where the basketball arena, where that's going on. Can you talk about the downtown area as you remember it, and what people can expect as far as the social life, the networking opportunities that might exist outside of the conference?
Yeah, and we used a Sheraton last time as our host hotel. Some of the APSA staff were there in mid-December for a site visit to go check out the changes that have happened since the last time we were there. And the hotel's been totally remodeled. They've got a really nice lounge now. It's a Bonvoy property, so if you have any access to lounges there, they have a really top-notch lounge. The bar in the lobby has been expanded. It is really large now. Can accommodate a lot of people. But beyond that, there's we went to 3 or 4 different restaurants that are all walkable. There's that you get to, and they're not like one and you got to walk up the blocks to get the next one. They're just next to each other. One after the other, and all types of cuisines, from Mexican to barbecue to all types of cuisines, and so it brings a lot of people down there. So it was always a good buzz. It feels safe because there's so many people walking around, and there's just so many places down there that people want to come to have dinner, even if there's nothing going on in either one of those arenas.
I remember the last time, actually, I think I was taking Kevin Means' thermographer course at Phoenix. And those restaurants you talk about, there was so many that you could get in during your lunch break and get back to class with plenty of time. So that's always a concern that I have as a student. How do I get into lunch and get back to class before I miss anything? That was totally possible. So that's a big plus for me. Jack, do you remember any of the social aspects of Phoenix that you'd like to highlight?
I just loved that everything was so close together. That's, like Dan just said, I mean, it wasn't like a restaurant, then you walk a few blocks to the next one. No, it was boom, boom, boom. It was right there, easy walk. And if Dan's giving food places in Phoenix a thumbs up, then it's good because he's a foodie. I mean, he knows every restaurant in every city he's ever been in. He knows the ones that he likes. So if he's giving a thumbs up, that's a good endorsement of what's going on there. And I do remember that. I can't remember one specifically, but I remember really enjoying the Phoenix conference. That it was just extra fun, extra interesting, good food, and a neat setting. And I like Phoenix too. It's a neat place.
The downtown area to me felt like people are there for a reason. They're not there for, they're not there to transit the area. So I felt isolated and, like you said, pretty safe. Pretty much the folks that I saw were people that were with us at our convention, which is really cool. So I appreciate that.
I was going to say somebody else just knew that wasn't there in 2014. They've got light rail downtown, and it runs through literally a block and a half from the hotel. In between, you got to cross the light rail to get to the convention center. And so that gives you a lot of access to a lot of places. If you don't have a car down there, you have access to a lot of places, a lot of other parts of Phoenix that you wouldn't normally have access to just walking around in there, which was nice as well.
Yeah, that's great. As with every convention, the training part of the conference is really important. And I know a lot of the classes are still kind of in progress as far as the planning goes, but something that's kind of come as a result of the last 3 years is merging the unmanned and manned classes. Is that something that people can expect? And on top of that, what other training do you know of that's going to happen at this point?
Yeah, so it will be, this is being billed as both APSCON and APSCON Unmanned 2025. We will be conducting them as on the education side as two separate events. Where they'll be a little bit separated from each other, but there'll be two separate events going at the same time with the shared exhibit hall floor. So that will be the same. I think this will be their third year in a row of doing that. We are adding some unmanned courses, which is exciting to us. I know that we need to add more flying in what we're doing, and we're working on that currently. The Phoenix Convention Center has a great loading dock, elevated and behind the convention center. And as a matter of fact, it's what we're going to be using for the LZ for all of the manned aircraft that come in. We'll be able to, it's big enough to land them out there and bring them right into the convention center. But we'll also be using that area for a fly zone for the unmanned aircraft as well. Phoenix has a really robust unmanned program in addition to their manned program. And those guys are really excited about us coming there and really excited to come out and help us set up and run some of the unmanned stuff out there. And so it's nice when they have that because it makes it easier for us. We can get a lot of things pre-cleared before we go in, and it certainly helps us a lot to do that. But one of the courses we're adding this year, which I think will be really exciting, is a DFR program. We're seeing more and more DFR programs pop up every week. There's 2 or 3 stories that not only is somebody adding a drone unit or adding drones to their operation, they're coming with these DFR programs where we're getting closer and closer to full autonomy and these drones out there running these calls. And so we are going to have it looks like at this point, it's going to be a 2-day DFR course, which will be for anybody that's thinking about starting one of those programs, you won't want to miss it because we're going to have a couple of the biggest providers of DFR programs in the U.S. will be presenting that program. So that's going to be pretty exciting for us.
Can you, for the folks that aren't familiar with what DFR is and means, can you outline that a little bit for them?
Yeah, sorry. Drones first responder. It's where you have drones pre-positioned around a certain area, a certain geographic area. And then through dispatch, those drones are launched. They respond to calls, and they're giving you, they normally arrive before any units do, and they're giving you a great situational awareness, through video as units are arriving. They can be controlled. Normally, they're autonomous. They fly to the scene. They provide that situational awareness. And if they get low on the battery, another one will come and take its place, and that one will fly out. They can be taken over, controlled, by man. But these programs don't require that there be somebody driving the drone, somebody controlling the drone. They don't require a visual line of sight observer. They're able to fly beyond visual line of sight, and it's again getting close to full autonomy of the unmanned aircraft.
Pretty cool. It's neat to see how technology's shaping a lot of this stuff.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's come so far and so quickly. It's incredible.
Yeah, and that makes me think that, it's because of that, what you said, Jack, is that it's going to go that much faster getting to the full autonomy and getting these
Right.
people just using these programs and getting more. The geographic areas now are fairly contained, but they're going to be getting larger and larger as time goes on,
And thus the training is so vital then. I mean, for people to not just jump in, blindly. They can, if they're even thinking about it, they can attend a course like that and say, oh yeah, we are 100% sold. Now we're going to go all in, or we just started this program. We can improve it by learning something, by going to Phoenix. I mean, it's just smart. It's a smart thing to do with anything new, but certainly with something as serious as an aircraft that's going up over your municipality or your city to do work, to do police work. So it's good that course has come around and is available to a lot of people that are thinking about doing it or just jumped in.
Yeah. And on the man side, we'll have a lot of the traditional courses. We have, a lot of the big sellers. The unit manager course we'll certainly be doing. The tactical flight officer course. We have come up with a new tactical flight officer course since last year. We've combined it with the thermal imaging course, the thermographer's course. We've test run that a couple times already. We have a couple more. We have at least one more trial of that before we actually just did one earlier this week. We did one in Florida, and we've got another one coming up. It'll be prior to the conference, but it will be coming up in Toronto. So we're excited about that too.
For the folks that are listening who may not be APSA members, can you talk about the costs of membership and then some of the benefits that come with that, and then also the costs of the conference as a member versus a non-member?
Thank you to our sponsor, Precision Aviation Group. Mission-critical operators and fleet managers rely on Precision Aviation Group as a worldwide leading rotor and fixed-wing MRO provider. PAG provides tip-to-tail solutions in 4 MRO segments: avionics, components, engines, and manufacturing DER services. A single point of contact gives you access to over 150 million in inventory globally, 24/7. Just call 800-537-2778. Precision Aviation Group. Others sell parts. We sell support.
Sure. The cost of membership is $65 or $62. I think it's between $60 and $60. It just went up. I think it's $62, $63 a year, but less than $65. And that gives you a lot of it gives you discounts to some of the things like APSCON, where the membership for APSCON members to come to the conference is like $295. It'll give you it's $395 with $100 off for members. For courses, it's $100 off on all the courses too, which normally run $495. They'll be discounted to $395. But if we have those courses, when we do these courses on demand, off site, we call them on the road courses, like the ones we have coming up. You also get to enjoy the same discount there. Things like our safety stand twos, we're doing more and more of those around the country. Those are full training days. Those are no charge if you're ever an APSA member. There is a charge if you're a non-member. For the Rescue Summit, which is a thing we conduct every year at Verticon, no charge for that if you're an APSA member. There is a charge if you're not an APSA member, which is equal to or just a little bit more than the annual membership. So it just makes sense to be a member. All the webinars we do online, all of those are open to APSA members at no charge. So there's a lot of training that you get because of that membership. And again, less than $5 a month to be a member. So
great.
And Airbeat as well, right?
Yep, Airbeat, the magazine. You can get both a print and or a digital version of that. That alone, just the annual cost of that alone, it exceeds the membership. It exceeds the cost of membership every year.
As far as the convention floor, last year I believe was the biggest attendance you've had in quite a while. Can you talk about what we expect this year as far as attendance goes, and then whether or not we expect any changes in the convention floor itself?
Yeah, we were very happy with that attendance last year going to Houston. Houston was the first 5-time host of our annual conference as a host city. This will be our 54th annual coming up. And again, Houston was the first 5-time host. And so we were really happy to see the response there, people traveling in. Again, I think it's because it's more center country, and center of the country, it's easy to get to from either coast. And internationally too, with the airports they have in Houston, 2 major airports, 2 Class B airspaces, you can get a lot of international flights direct into Houston. One of the reasons I still live in Houston is because it's when I want to travel internationally, I can go pretty much anywhere on a nonstop flight and don't have to change planes, which is nice. So that helps the attendance. Interesting enough, Phoenix this year will become our second 5-time host city. So out of 54 conferences, those 2 cities will have hosted 10 of them by the time this one's over. So that's exciting for us too. So Phoenix has stepped up in the past. They've been a great host city in the past. And so we're looking forward to that. And again, a fairly easy city to get to. And also, whenever we do things to the west, the western part of the country, we get a lot of great attendance. A lot of our membership is in the western part of the country, and it's a good draw. We go all the way out to on the East Coast. A lot of times the West Coast guys won't come. But in this instance, I think that being out west, again, this is one of our western locations, we will get a good draw, and it'll be a lot of people. We're looking for great attendance.
It's an easy drive, even from a lot of the Western folks. If they don't even want to fly, they can drive there. It's a good. I can see why that would be an easy draw, because Phoenix is a neat city, and it's not that far for the West Coast folks.
Yeah, absolutely. The next question is a bit of a hot seat question for you. I don't know if you're prepared to answer this, but I'm very curious. Of all the locations out there for us to go network, what's the one location, the one bar that's must attend?
Well, I did go to one that while I was there, and I now have a German surname, but I'm mostly Irish by blood. I love Irish bars. I try to visit Irish bars everywhere I go. Tiki bars are first, but there wasn't a tiki bar downtown that I could get to. Okay, so the second, Irish, and there's it's SEAMUS. Is that Seamus or Seamus? I don't know. I don't want to pronounce it wrong. But the first name, but the last is McCaffrey's. I think it's Seamus McCaffrey's or Seamus McCaffrey's. Great Irish pub. Had a good time there. Had some good fish and chips there. So I would say that's a good place if you like Irish pubs.
No Jimmy Buffett. There was no Jimmy Buffett playing there.
No, there's no. Not Buffett, but that's okay. Irish folks music is a good second. And again, no tiki bars that I could get to easily. But another place I've been to, in several visits there, and growing up, when I grew up and being the age that I am, I was a huge Alice Cooper fan. And Cooperstown there is a pretty cool little restaurant and bar to go to too. If you've never been, it's a Alice Cooper based thing, but they call it Cooperstown. The play on the baseball. Him being a big baseball fan, but it's a pretty cool place. Not right downtown, but if you want a cool place to go, it's a cool place.
Well, John, just so you know, he just sold me on something. So we're going to Cooperstown because I'm an Alice Cooper guy because I'm of that same generation. All right.
Yes.
Alice Cooper's the man,
All right. Love that. Yeah. The networking is so important in what we do there. Talk about coming up with solutions to problem we have within, your own agency, and as an industry as a whole. So many problems are solved over a beer and some pretzels and some solutions drawn on napkins. It's unreal. So excited to visit, the Irish pub. I always like those as well.
Yeah.
Outside of APSCON itself, talked about, a little bit about the website you've developed and some of the things that are going on, but what else is upcoming and exciting for APSCON? We're adding a lot of our training nowadays is on demand. We used to do our annual conference and 6 regional safety seminars, and that was it. We had 7 events a year. COVID happened, and we weren't able to do anything, in person. So we started spinning an awful lot of stuff online. That led to us just adding lots of events now. We're running every year. We're running anywhere from 15 to 20 live events, in-person events, plus a lot of the stuff that we're still doing some stuff online. So that's always exciting for us, and being able to add these courses. But one decision we made, and we used to, there were some of the safety seminars that we lost a considerable amount of money on. They didn't even come close to breaking even. So the board back in, before COVID actually hit, we had a strategic planning meeting back in 2020. And one of the things that came out of that is if an event is not going to at least break even, if it's going to be in the red, we will cancel that event 21 days out. So that's been a little bit of a curse, but not really, but it's been more of a blessing, because it certainly has helped the association to be able to operate in the black. And have some really good events. And so, but a lot of those events now we do them on demand. And so an agency will call, a university will call and say, hey, we'd like to do this training. We'd like to host this training. Can you bring that to us? And we're
always really happy to do that. And those have been very successful for us. I think that I got two right now that I want to bring up, both in September at this point. Spokane County Sheriff's Department has been a great host for us, and they've stepped up, and we're going to be doing a safety stand too the last full week of September there for them. It's always a great event. It's always well attended. Spokane is a cool city to visit. If you've never visited it, it really is. The whole area is nice. It's certainly a cooler weather than what I'm used to here in Houston, so I really enjoy going there. But we'll be doing an event there. We've done this event the last couple of years, and we've done it later in the year, October and November to be exact. And it was a little chill in the air, but we're doing this in September. They wanted to get on early on the schedule and do that, so that's exciting to us. But another one that we've been in development, there's been some talk about it, and that I can announce is that we will be doing APSCON Europe this year.
Awesome.
We had a kind of a false start on it, at least in terms of announcing some dates that would have been earlier in 2025. But we separated those dates a little bit in consideration and out of respect for another event that was going on there, and trying to give everybody their space. So this will be in Valencia, Spain. It will be September 8th to 10th, 8 to 10. And we'll be doing an APSCON man. It's going to be fashioned more as like a safety seminar here that we conduct in the States than APSCON itself. We're not going to be in a convention center. We're going to be, as a matter of fact, Bell has offered their training center. They have quite a large, Textron has a very large operation at the airport, and Bell has a part of that as their training center. They've offered to host us, so we're excited about that. But it will be tabletop exhibits, and it'll be a lot of good training, a lot of good education that we'll be able to take over to Europe. So that's very exciting for us. First time we've ever gone out on our own training event there. And so really looking forward to that. We'll be putting a lot of effort into that and making sure that is a great event for our European brothers.
Very exciting. Love that. The last question I have is pertaining to some elections that are upcoming for APSA. Can you talk about that?
Sure. We had nominations were open back from November 1st to December 15th for the open board, or the positions that were open for nomination. So just so you know, we've got on positions on our board, 10 of those are elected, half of them every year. So every other year, each position's up for re-election. All the board are all volunteer, non-paid positions. And again, there's 10 that are elected each year. So or 5 that are elected each year, 10 total positions. This year, for the term of July 2025 to July 2027, we had 5 positions open: the president, the treasurer, Canadian region director, Central region director, and Southeast region director. As the nominations all came in and as they finalized, we get a lot of nominations. But then we not only do we check to make sure that the nominee and the nominator are eligible to nominate and to serve. Sometimes our nominees. The nominations is a surprise to them sometimes, and sometimes they don't accept the nomination. So, and a lot of times they want to see who else been getting nominated before they decide what they're going to do. But as it washed out, for the president, Richard Bray, our current president, has chose not to run again. Richard's retired again from his law enforcement job, and he did it as a sworn, then he did it as a civilian, and now he's retired from that. So Richard's not running again. Our current Vice President, Dave Ellis, has been nominated for president, and Dave will be our incoming president come the end of APSCON 2025. Awesome. So everybody takes office at the end of the event. Treasurer is Lee Majors, our current treasurer, and Lee will continue to serve in that position. Kyle Paliga is our Canadian region director. Kyle's running unopposed also again, so he will be serving in that position. And Todd Tolbert's our Southeast region director, and Todd will be running, or Todd is running unopposed. So Todd will again serve another 2-year term in that position. But the one position that will be having an election is in our Central region director ship. Our current Central region director, Brandon Rose, is running for re-election, as well as Frank Peck from Omaha PD. Frank has decided to run against him, so we'll have a contested contest there, and we'll be having an election. Ballots will be going on out on or about June 1st, and the election period it'll be electronic election voting again this year, and it'll be open for a 30-day period.
Awesome. Well, this is the first time that we're going to do this, and I think it's a pretty cool way to disseminate information about the folks that are running. This conversation is going to be followed with a statement from the candidates that are running for those positions. So stand by for more information on those candidates. It'd be pretty cool. But before we wrap up, I want to thank Richard for the time that he spent in that position. He dedicated and sacrificed a lot to make that happen. So thank you, Richard.
Congratulations on really retiring, Richard. Good for you. Good for you. I mean, he's been doing this a long time. Everybody knows him, and real retirement will be great, Richard. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So thank you for all the efforts that you've put into our industry and making it better, and wish you all the best as you really enter retirement. And I'm sure we'll still see you around, but until then.
One of our board positions, John, is immediate past president, and it's for 1 year. It's a 1 year term. So Richard will be on as our immediate past president for 1 more year. So we'll be able to take advantage of his wisdom and knowledge and guidance for 1 more year as our immediate past president. So
good. Awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Any parting words or last thoughts you have, Dan, as we go into the candidate statements?
No, I think we've got all the candidates. We got some strong candidates, and both Frank and Brandon, both well-known entities to us, both for that election. Either one will do a great job. Brandon's done a great job for us. Frank's been interested in running for quite a while, so we're happy to have Frank on board. Frank used to be he's now with Omaha Police Department, and he's their head of their aviation unit. Prior to that, he worked for Nebraska State Police as the head of their aviation unit. So he's been around for quite a while. Both, any way we go, will be exciting. Really looking forward to Dave finally becoming our president. He's been our vice president for a while, and so glad to see Dave stepping up into that position as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We're happy about that too. Dave's a great guy. He's been in this business for a long time now, and great knowledge, and just a wonderful person. We're big fans of Dave.
Yeah.
Yep. Excellent.
Jack, any closing thoughts for you before we head into the candidate statements?
No, I think this is really neat. When we first talked about this idea, it was like, oh, that's genius. It's obvious that this is a great platform to get two people to come on and talk about what they want to bring to APSA. And, that's really cool. So we got preview on the front end with Dan, and we know what's coming in Phoenix. And now we get to talk to two candidates for these important offices. So this is a great idea. Glad to be a part of it.
All right. Well, without further ado, here's our candidate statements.
Thank you to our sponsor, Shotover. Shotover Systems is the leading developer and manufacturer of high-performance gyro-stabilized cameras with advanced real-time AR mapping and mission management, all backed by unparalleled custom training and support. Now offering the M2 multi-sensor system, sole 6-axis EO/IR platform with 4K Ultra HD color and infrared technology. Ideal for law enforcement and defense. Offered with real-time AR overlays to quickly identify streets, weather, and traffic. Automated license plate recognition, 24 megapixel digital photographs, and automated steering and tracking.
The Hangar Z Podcast would like to welcome the two candidates for the Central Region Director of the Airborne Public Safety Association. We've decided on a few questions that would allow each of the candidates to introduce themselves and to you, and allow you to get to know how they feel about issues of the day in public safety aviation. The first candidate is Texas Game Warden Chief Pilot Brandon Rose with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department.
Welcome back to the Hangar Z Podcast. We're doing a new series starting with this episode today with Dan. As we've previewed APSCON, we're also interested in helping APSA with their candidate elections. What we've offered to do is to bring the candidates in that are running in contested elections to talk about some of the qualifications they have and why they've ran for the position they're running for. So with us today to talk about himself and some of the motivations he has to run for the position he's running for is Brandon Rose. Welcome to the Hangar Z Podcast, Brandon.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Glad to be here.
Yeah,
glad y'all are doing this.
Thanks for joining us. If you could just tell us, we know your name, but what agency you're working for and what position you're running for within the APSA organization.
Sure. So work for Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. The game wardens under the law enforcement division of our department, and running for Central Region Director with APSA.
That would explain the horns in the back of the wall behind you.
That's right.
For those that aren't looking on YouTube, he's got some game hanging back there, so that's pretty cool.
Nice, thank you.
So for the first question, I'll ask you the first question, and Jack will follow up with the next two, and I'll ask the final question. So our first question is, can you share a brief overview of your professional background and the experiences in public safety aviation? And how has this time shaped your perspective on the industry?
Yeah, sure. So I've been in law enforcement for 21 years. I've been a pilot for 25 years. I began working as a field game warden in 2010. I signed on to our department to be a game warden. And then I started out with just a few hundred flight hours, private. I think I was commercial level before I got in, fixed wing. And then in 2011, the agency said, well, if you get your helicopter license on your own, we'll hire you on. So all of our pilots are dual rated and have been since the 90s, I believe. So I've been a game warden pilot now for 12 years. Nearly 2 years ago now, I promoted to a chief pilot within our agency, and now I oversee 8 staff members between pilots and TFOs and our full-time UAS program supervisor. I've been an APSA member since I started. Our agency's been with APSA and ALIA way back when, and so since 2011. In this time, I've seen the aircraft and technology improvements. So I'm sure you guys know learning to fly way before GPS and VORs. Seen those improvements over the years, and I think for me, the technology has helped drive me to constantly want to improve our agency and my own flying. I've got a Piper Cherokee 6 personally, and fly that around, fly the family, have fun with $100 hamburgers doing that. Now like $300, $400 hamburgers. But yeah, the technology I think is a big drive for me. Constantly trying to improve our missions and everything that has to offer. And with the expansive missions that we perform, I see that technology can improve safety and has improved safety, I think, for us. And I just want to help others grow in the industry, maintain that flight safety, and of course that's the biggest thing I think APSA is all about is public safety aviation, of course. And just being in the industry this long, if you have been, you know somebody personally who's been in a bad mishap or worse, killed, and so I want to do everything that I can to help keep that from happening.
Yeah, I love the conversations surrounding technology. Jack is seeing a lot of changes over the course of his career. I believe he and Tony Weber flew with the Wright brothers. Is that correct?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. How did I get involved in that? We were hitting Tony hard with that this past week, and now I've been dragged into that. Oh, boy. Keep in mind, Tony's retiring with 42 years on the job. I only had 31, so.
Nice.
I didn't know the Wright brothers like Tony did. So, Brandon, what specific experiences or accomplishments are you most proud of that you believe contribute to your effectiveness as a central region director of APSA?
So back to the technology piece. When drones started getting bigger, before there was 107 and all that, I started really looking into us doing drones for our agency, and went about a year and a half of playing with that and trying to get the notion started with our agency. And then thanks to a program we have called Gear Up for Game Wardens, we were able to get our first drone and get off the ground and running in 2019. And within a year, I taught a week-long class to game wardens from the field. And within a year, we were up to about 65 game wardens and drones in our agency. So, and it's been a game changer. It's been a relief for aviation, the man side, and gets guys all across the state of Texas help when they need it immediately. So that is one thing. And then another thing, we were flying. We fly 2 A-Star helicopters now, and then we were flying Cessna 206s, and we had a crash, unfortunately, about 2 years ago in the middle of downtown Austin. was a mechanical failure. The pilot went down in the middle of the Colorado River near downtown, and fortunately nobody was hurt. He wasn't hurt and landed in the water and didn't flip the plane. So, but all that to say, with that, I think I've been instrumental in helping our department get 2 new Cessna Grand Caravans that should be delivered to us in November. So we're super excited about that. And just to tell you a little bit about our mission set, historically, law enforcement conservation has been our primary work, and that still is our primary mission. We're also active in SAR, wildlife and river surveys, assisting other agencies, other law enforcement agencies with anything from thefts to manhunts to pursuits, which is very valuable for us as game wardens, because our game wardens are kind of known as law enforcement off the pavement, and we have great relationships with these county rural agencies, and then also with our state landowners. And so we also do numerous educational, recruiting, static display events, prisoner transport, executive transport, a lot of other flights like that. And so in my time here, I feel like I've helped our mission set grow. Since I've been here, we started hoisting, and very recently we've gotten into aerial firefighting. So that's a lot of fun stuff. And then I've also helped our unit grow over the years. Since I've been chief pilot, we've added an additional pilot position and 2 additional TFO positions, as well as a full-time UAS program supervisor. And so these wide array of missions and just unit growth experience allows me to possibly help others and work with other guys in APSA and maybe even not in APSA, and help with questions they may have, and based on our experience working through the same things, and hopefully to overall improve aviation safety with that experience.
Nice. You've certainly touched on this next topic, this next question, but perhaps you could expand on something that you've already, kind of introduced us to. Why are you interested in serving as the Central Regional Director for the Airborne Public Safety Association, and what motivates you to take on this leadership role?
I've been fortunate enough to serve as the Central Region Director for the past 4 years and 2 terms. So I'm I guess interested in serving a 3rd term. Just based on my experience, it does involve some work, but it's just been a huge pleasure serving and doing my best to help improve aviation safety within public safety. I've appreciated everything APSA has to offer, getting super involved with events like APSCON and Safety Stand 2s over the years, and then decided to serve in this role 4 years ago, and I've loved it. To me, the safety and educational side of APSA, as well as the networking, there's no substitute out there. There's nobody else has anything to offer, I think, that compares. And I would just like to continue to serve in this great role.
Yeah, I thank you for your service for the last 8 years, or last 3 terms, I'm sorry. Huge benefit for our community. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
For the last questions, what key issues or opportunities do you believe are currently facing the airborne public safety community, and how do you plan to address them if you're elected as the Central Region Director for another term?
Yeah, so I've got a couple things. I believe one of the most important things that has always been a need is to get as many units across the country and the world involved as we possibly can, to introduce them to the safety resources that APSA has, and going back to it, but just through that, preventing as many accidents and mishaps as we possibly can, save lives, And then also my second thing is, with the growing technology I talked about, I believe it's very important to get UAS also actively involved and improve their efficiency and just apply many of the years that manned aviation has been around to UAS and help that side grow as well, and even also prevent manned and unmanned mishaps and just share the manned knowledge with UAS. And I think that's been a need and can continue to grow in APSA. So I'd address these two big things by just continuing to recruit new members, as I have been, as well as other agencies across the region and country and world, if I possibly can, and just get the word out there talking about the benefits that APSA has to offer. through APSCON, through the working groups that we have, through Safety Stand 2 events, and many other opportunities. And on the Safety Stand 2 event side, just to get the word out there, hopefully, Texas Parks and Wildlife and Texas DPS are co-hosting a Central Region Safety Stand 2 coming up on April 23rd and 24th here in Austin. Should be a great event. We've got, I think, most of the major city agency units in Texas have committed, and several from out of state. So hopefully it's a great event. And anyway, I just want to run to keep doing what I'm doing and keep that kind of stuff going.
Thank you, Brandon. Again, appreciate the time you've spent in the role that you're currently in, and look forward to seeing you at the next APSCON in Phoenix, and look forward to talking to you in the future about what you're doing with your agency and all the unique work. It sounds like you guys have a lot of interesting stuff going on and have a big mission set. So excited to dig into that with you in a future recording. So until then, Jack, any follow-up or any last questions?
No, thanks, Brandon. I think this went great. I'm really glad we're doing this for both the candidates. I think it's a great way for people to get to see who they're voting for and hear from them. So thanks for joining us, and thanks to APSCON for letting us participate in this.
Yeah, and a unique way to get information out and get to meet the candidates a bit.
Yeah.
So thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you guys. I'd be glad to catch up and talk more about what we do.
Yeah, see you soon.
Well, until then, we'll catch you later. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you to our sponsor, CNC Technologies. CNC Technologies, serving law enforcement, government, and military markets with tailored mission solutions, system training, and live 24/7 support with CNC.live platform. Explore more at cnctechnologies.com.
We'd now like to give an opportunity to our second candidate for the Central Regional Director, Chief Pilot Frank Peck of the Omaha Police Department.
Welcome back to the Hangar Z Podcast, back for another segment of the APSA candidate outline interview. So our goal in doing this is to assist APSA with their elections. And with us today is Frank Peck from Omaha. How are you doing, sir?
Good. Yourselves? I appreciate the opportunity to get in and visit with you guys today briefly.
Yeah, I mean, we've chatted quite a bit over the years, so it's nice to have you, and we'll have to bring you back in for a full conversation at some point, but excited to have you here. You're running for the APSA Central Region Director position. So that's you and Brandon Rose are going for that position. So the same questions that we asked him, we'll ask of you. So question number one is, can you share a brief overview of your professional background and experience in the public safety aviation industry? Now, how has this shaped your perspective on the industry?
Well, I'm going to age myself a few times here today, which, can be good. I think overall, my perspective is, I've been in the industry for over 23 years, been in law enforcement for, more than 35 years. But, prior to that, I don't mean to put myself on that level, but I was a K-9 handler for the state of Nebraska. I was a trooper. And that was kind of where I started looking at things and kind of, the state police air support unit, how it kind of, what they were doing, and kind of, I was a part-time TFO and kind of working with them. And that just kind of got me interested. And then going even further back, most of us were former military. I had some military friends that I said I was tired of being flown around by all these pilots, and I told them I wanted to become a pilot. And they all thought I was dumb and, said what most military folks say. And that kind of put a little fire under me to prove everybody wrong that I'm going to go do this. I think got lucky, started flying fixed wings, progressed to helicopters, got in the air support unit, and I was lucky enough to go over there as a sergeant, which transpired me. I got promoted through the years. I spent about 17 years running that department's air support unit, and retired as a captain. I think overall, when I look at it, I just have watched the, Airborne Law Enforcement Association and everything within our association and even our business progress with technology and some other things that have gone on. And I think through the years I've been, and I'll probably say this again, I've always been one of those evolution versus revolution. You either evolve with the times or you'll find yourself overthrown. And I think that's, one of the key aspects that I do bring is, again, I know what it used to be like and where we're at today. And now we're starting to blend other resources and other assets into our overall business. But at the end of the day, we just want to, serve the public, serve our people, or our men and women that are on the street better. And I think that's something that I do bring, is having a lot of experience from, the state side. And now I'm with the Omaha Police Department. I'm their chief pilot, have been since 2019. And, so I think the uniqueness of maybe something that I bring to our membership is, having a lot of different perspectives, not only a state mission, but also a local mission too, that's, more of a patrol and more isolated, and a very busy unit. I mean, we're quite busy, quite successful, but I think that is one of the things that I bring to our membership, is being able to talk. Because if you look at the membership and look at our region, you have everything from big departments to smaller departments. And inside that too, we have aircraft resources, and we also have drone resources. So I think that's something that I bring to can bring to APSA and bring to our membership, having all these different perspectives. So I represent everybody, not only as an individual, but as an overall group.
Love that. I love the conversation surrounding technology. It's always really interesting to me. And it is interesting to look back over time and see how that's changed our industry for the better.
Yeah.
Jack, I'll switch over to you for question 2 and 3.
Frank, what specific experiences or accomplishments are you most proud of that you believe will contribute to your effectiveness as a Central Region Director of the Airborne Public Safety Association?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think humility comes into effect here with everybody. I think we have to be, very humble. I think overall, some of the, best aspects that maybe I changed or did was, again, I go back to I recognize technology and how it can make us better. So I think having that open-mindedness to leverage that technology to make us more effective and more resourceful. I think one of the I have a few different things that I've been allowed to do or have done. And, I'll just go back to, my past. I refer to it as my past life. I'll go back to my past life. I think at the time, nothing against anybody or anything. It was just more of things were very routine. And I was a ground person trying to, utilize some of our resources. And so I had a different philosophy as far as, I wanted them to support us. And it wasn't always the easiest thing at that time. So when I was selected to go over there, I was a canine sergeant. And so when I was selected to go to the air support unit, I kind of had the perspective of, we only exist because of the men and women that are on the ground. Now that still carries over today with all of us, as we all know, whether you're working an aircraft or you're working a drone or whatever. I mean, we only exist, in my opinion, this is strictly Frank's opinion, is to support the men and women on the street. And I mean that I talk to people about that. That's just not song and dance. We're blessed to get to do what we do.
Yeah.
But I think when I came over initially in my past life with the state police, was we kind of looked at that. Well, how could we better and utilize these resources to support our folks? And at the time I was a SWAT team leader. So I had some different objectives and different ideas. And then we started looking at what more could we do and what was our niche. At the time, we built a downlink in the early 2000s was not what it is today. And, being able to send that live video feed. But that was a niche that I looked at that, hey, look, we're responding all over the state. How do we provide this information to the men and women on the ground? So we built a pretty robust downlink system. We updated our aircraft. We added a few pilots, and we made training very routine. And when I say routine, I mean that the standard is you have to go to emergency procedures training annually. So there was quite a few accomplishments in there that I think we did. Now, fast forwarding to 2019, when I was still with the state, I was eligible to retire, and they had a few incidences, and I was selected to come be their chief pilot and make some internal changes. The people that were running it were my friends. I knew those folks. I kind of carried over some of that philosophy to where I'm currently at. And now we look at the department, we have, pilots, more pilots, we have new aircraft, new cameras, new technology. We also I knew the state's infrastructure. So we added that same infrastructure to the city of Omaha so that when we have events like we've all had, we can share those resources to be more effective, whether it's the state coming in or us, the Omaha Police Department doing our function. That is now kind of a routine, and we're leveraging that and expanding on that as we speak, because I think it's critical for command and control. I think looking at it though, one of the bigger things that we've done now too that I'm pretty proud about, we're still in the growing stage, we're still working through it, is the drone unit, which was ramped up by our mobile IT folks. They started it and got it going, and a couple of years ago the chief sent it to me, to the air support unit. So now what we've done is taken what we all know, we've combined those resources. I believe that one augments the other, and so we've taken them and we've kind of put them together. So now we're again leveraging those resources, going back to what I said earlier, to do our job of supporting the men and women on the ground. We're combining those. I'm not worried about one replacing the other or anything like that. I think we're a long ways from that, but I do believe that we could do more with less, and so we're leveraging those resources. I'm pretty proud of that. We're now in the position where next week we're going to set up a beta dock system with a company. We just got our beyond visual line of sight DFR. We don't need a VO, so we can launch the drone out again, leveraging that technology to support the men and women that we're supporting. Those are just a few accomplishments that I think we've done, but I'll also be the first to say, without the right people around you, none of that happens. We're supported. We have a great crew, and we're supported by our chief and our mayor's office and our council. But I'm excited and proud of where we're going to be, and I'm looking forward to what the next year is going to bring.
Frank, why are you interested in serving as the Central Region Director of the Airborne Public Safety Association, and what motivates you to take on this leadership role?
Well, I think what I bring is kind of what I was just talking about. I think I have several different perspectives, because again, looking at our geography, it's not just I'll use you, Jack. It's not the big LAPD, it's not NYPD, who have great resources, great men and women. It's, we have everything within our region, from a small unit to a large unit. And I think having the knowledge and experience that I've been allowed to get over the last 23 years, all that carries over, so that when we're dealing and talking to the needs of our people, I can help address them, or may have a perspective or a different way of looking at things. And I was lucky enough that I got selected to go to the FBI National Academy. And so I always tell people this, that, you have to mentor our future, right? So I always tell everybody, I go, the complaints that we have, I said, one thing I learned when I was at the FBI National Academy was, insert any department USA, whatever they're complaining about, remove that department, insert yourself. I said, all the complaints and all the issues that we have are all pretty much the same, just maybe on different scales. Now, how does that work for the airborne law enforcement side? Well, it's the same things. Maybe the problem that drone unit is having in that location may be the same issue that this other location is working at. And I think if we have open lines of communication and we talk and we share that information, we're not going to reinvent the wheel, but you may have done something differently than we did, and it may trigger us to be successful. And I think that's what I want to bring to the unit, or to the, to our region, is kind of that, that open lines of conversation, kind of along the lines of what you guys do. You bring people in, they share information. People now pick up the phone and call and go, hey, we're having trouble with this. What's your experience here? I think at the end of the day, all it does is makes us all better and, more successful. Now, what motivates me to do that? Again, it all ties in together. We are only here to support the men and women on the ground. And that's what motivates me, is if people are having success and people are, we can get into your potential to save an officer, maybe save somebody a citizen, or to rescue somebody or do anything. That's what motivates me, is to watch success, not only for me as an individual, but watch the people that I'm allowed to supervise have success and grow, and everybody's excited. And I'll tell you, after, several years of doing this, I'm still excited. I'm lucky that I get to go to work. I think that, and I remind our people of this. Every day we do a job that millions and millions and millions of people will never, ever, ever get the opportunity to do. Don't ever take it for granted. And that's a message that I would continue to pass on to our membership. I truly believe that. I know Jack, you do, John, I know you guys do. That, what does everybody do when they see a drone or a helicopter flies by? They all look.
Yeah.
And my kids and people make fun of me. I'm allowed to fly one every day.
Yeah.
Like all of us have. And what do? We still look up and go, we do that. So I think that's what motivates me, Jack, is just to watch others be successful, and to watch what we do grow and build, because it's coming. And it's going to be exciting.
Good. Thanks, Frank.
It's time for your Heli Life giveaway buzzword. Listen up and remember this word, because you'll need it to enter for a chance to win exclusive Heli Life gear. Ready? This episode's buzzword is perimeter. Visit contest.verticalhelicast.com to enter the buzzword.
I love it. I am that kid that pushes my kids out of the way so I can get a better view of the helicopter.
I do too. I still do. My daughter made fun of me one day. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you fly them all the time." And I go, "I know, but I might know that person. It's not even a police helicopter. It's one of the EMS ones." But I said, I know them. And how awesome is that, just to look and, again, it goes back to we're all lucky to get to, have had the opportunity that we've gotten. And
absolutely.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah. Well, last question for you. What issues or opportunities do you believe are currently facing the airborne public safety community, and how do you plan to address them if elected as Central Region Director?
Well, I think that this all kind of carries over, I believe, to kind of what I've been saying. My message, it's not going to change. It can't. I think, again, when we look at things, it's not one's going to replace the other. I think that it's incumbent upon us. And we would not be doing the public service if we didn't look at how we can work more efficiently and do our jobs better. So I think one of the things, again, is combining those resources. And I think APSA's done a phenomenal job recognizing what we've had in the past, where we're at, and where we're going in the future, and combining those things. I think that's probably the one of the biggest keys, is, again, I go back to evolution versus revolution. I think that you either evolve with the times, or if you choose not to, you're going to find yourself overthrown. And I think that would be a disservice to all of us in law enforcement and public safety and EMS and any type of operation that we're allowed to do if we just, this is the way we've always done it. This is where we're at. And so that would be one of my keys too, is I think that we look at each other and we figure out how we make things work together, and because it is going to be our future. And I know I've said that multiple times. I just think that that's one of the keys, because I think right now you do have the, I'm a drone pilot. I'm a helicopter pilot. I'm a fixed wing pilot. I'm a this, I'm a that. I think one of the best things that we can do is, again, take ourselves out of the box and look and see how do we work to make sure that we work together to do what's right.
Yeah. We're one community. That's for sure. Well, Frank, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. We'll have to take more time out of your schedule as we go. A lot of interesting things to follow up on. So thank you, sir. And we'll catch you later.
Hey, I appreciate you guys' time. And Jack, as always, it's a pleasure seeing you too. And John, I always appreciate what you guys are doing for the association and just for the community overall. I think the information you guys have put out has been phenomenal, and I think that you're mentoring our future, and you're keeping people where we need to be. And can't thank you guys enough.
No, thank you, Frank.
And I love your book, Jack. People always hide in garbage cans.
That's right.
They do. I have video of it. Several of them, like you do. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks, Frank.
Catch you later. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Hangar Z Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to hear more stories that promote the personnel and equipment behind the missions in public safety aviation. Lastly, stand by for a message after a word from our sponsors. Cheers.
Thank you to our sponsor, CNC Technologies. CNC Technologies, serving law enforcement, government, and military markets with tailored mission solutions, system training, and live 24/7 support with CNC.live platform. Explore more at CNC Technology. Thank you to our sponsor, Precision Aviation Group. Mission-critical operators and fleet managers rely on Precision Aviation Group as a worldwide leading rotor and fixed-wing MRO provider. PAG provides tip-to-tail solutions in 4 MRO segments: avionics, components, engines, and manufacturing DER services. A single point of contact gives you access to over 150 million in inventory globally, 24/7. Just call 800-537-2778. Precision Aviation Group. Others sell parts. We sell support. Thank you to our sponsor, Shotover. Shotover Systems is the leading developer and manufacturer of high-performance gyro-stabilized cameras with advanced real-time AR mapping and mission management, all backed by unparalleled custom training and support. Now offering the M2 multi-sensor system, sole 6-axis EO/IR platform with 4K Ultra HD color and infrared technology. Ideal for law enforcement and defense. Offered with real-time AR overlays to quickly identify streets, weather, and traffic. Automated license plate recognition, 24 megapixel digital photographs, and automated steering and tracking.
Thank you for listening to the Hangar Z Podcast. APSCON Phoenix 2025 is July 14th to the 18th. This is a fantastic opportunity to attend top-notch training, see the latest in public safety aircraft and mission equipment, meet with the vendors that support your mission, and network with fellow public servants from across the country and around the world. Go to publicsafetyation.org for more information on attending this great event. If you're an APSA member in the central region, be sure to vote. It's vital for your voice to be heard. Please stop by the Vertical Magazine booth to visit all of us on the MHM team on the convention floor at APSCON. We look forward to seeing you there. See you soon.